Welcome to the new episode of my podcast on the spot. Today I have a great honor and pleasure to host again Dan Barna, member of the European Parliament, representing Save Romania Union, and also Vice President of ALDE of European Liberals. Thank you, Dan, for accepting my invitation again.
Thank you for the pleasure to meet again your followers.
Yeah, so today we will discuss three issues briefly. The new geopolitical reality, which is the consequence of the new Trump administration, and their policies, which marks 1 month today, exactly today. Then the U.S. stance on the situation in Serbia, and finally the political situation in Romania in the wake of the repeated presidential elections after the resignation of the President Klaus Iohannis. So I would appreciate if we can start with this apparent geopolitical reshuffle coming with the new Trump administration. And it's probably, as the Economist stated in their new article, the worst moment for Europe after the fall of the Iron Curtain. So there are many comparisons and analogies with the history with 1938, with the appeasement of Hitler-Nazi Germany appeasement, 1939, the Ribbentrop-Molotov agreement, and 1945 with Yalta. So, and the European also political groups and parties reacted to that, requesting new policies, especially new European security policies. The president of the Renew Europe, of the political group in the European Parliament, Valery Ayer, just 3 days ago sent a letter to the president of the European Commission just before the meeting of European extraordinary meeting in Paris, requesting stronger European common defense policies. It has 5 issues, and then 4 political groups, the 3 that constitute the European Commission and also the Greens, came up with a common position. So I would appreciate if you can elaborate more on this situation. Is this also this crisis an opportunity for Europe to take a torch for the United States and to become a genuine beacon of democracy in the world? And I think that there is a global expectation of that, and even German President Steinmeier at the Munich Security Conference mentioned the poll by the European Council of Foreign Relations, which states that there is a global perception expectation from Europe to take this global role.
Thank you, and yeah, there are many to be discussed and presented. I'll start with this element. In 4 days by now, Ursula von der Leyen will have a speech, a position, we hope, consistent one, related with Europe in this new context. It's exactly related with 3 years of the war in Ukraine, and that, I hope, could be I would say, turning point in the current situations, because what's happened is that in the last week, because we're talking about the last week, Trump with Musk, with Vance, the Trump's team, let's put it like this, because it's not exactly America, and I'll avoid to use it as United States, what's happening these days. In 1 week, Trump managed to turn the world upside down. I mean, in a way, like he took a cooking machine and put it in the planet and make it spin. And 2 days ago, I was in the group Renew in the parliament, because, of course, here we have a lot of debates and discussion on this issue. I use this as a metaphor, seeing that what happened in the Riyadh format looks for the Eastern Europeans like a Yalta 2.0 format. And 1 day after, yesterday evening, for example, the chief of staff of the Romanian president and also the security and defense counselor of our president confirmed that in Yalta, in Riyadh, the Russians explicitly asked Americans to withdraw from Europe and let the Eastern Europe under their control. This is already known by now. So we are exactly in this format where Trump, it seems it was convinced by Putin, because it looks like that, to try to come back to that bipolar world where the Americans and the Russians are sharing the world like a plate. And maybe in the hope for Trump that in this way he will isolate China by Russia, the Americans' biggest fear. But what we are facing is not so much in these days what the Americans are saying, because if we are going to start to look what Vance is saying, what Musk, what Trump are saying, it's inconceivable. Actually, my position is that we should stop whining. We should stop whining and being angry of the Trump administration because they are not respecting any international treaties. They are trying to change this model of the European world after the Second World War, where the Americans acknowledge and assume the position of defenders of the free world. So actually what Trump is saying, by all means, I mean, the yesterday message against Zelensky is inconceivable to have this kind of message coming from, I don't know, Roosevelt or Reagan or Bush Senior. I mean, it's something completely different. So in this moment, at least for the next 4 years, America is not a partner to count in defending the democratic world, the free world, what we are calling the free world in the very, very generic term. So it's critical for Europe to be able to stand, to be now exactly what the Americans were in the 45, 48, proposing and supporting the Marshall Plan for the Europe, and they saved Europe in that moment. Now is the Europe's duty to save Ukraine. It's clear than ever. There is no doubt about this, because for Europe, this is not alternative to quit Ukraine, because it's not any longer about Ukraine. Trump is talking about a fair peace, something, whatever. Cannot be a fair peace without Ukraine at the table, without Europe. It's impossible. I mean, it's not a matter of splitting. Okay, let's take the scale and draw some lines on Ukraine border. It's unacceptable, and the Europe should have explicitly assumed this position. It's very good that President Macron started to make the first move in Europe. I mean, first in gathering some few of the leaders of the Europe, and then the next day he made with the other part of the leaders. So it's this kind of political variable geometry in terms of trying to face the reality that there are two countries in this moment, Hungary and Slovakia, which are not reasoning with the rest of the European Union. But there is no excuse to use the formal treaty as an excuse for reaction, for no action. Because this is the problem. It's okay, there should be unanimity. Look, there is no unanimity, so we better continue to talk. No, we need to action. So a good thing was, a small one, but a good one. It was last evening. I was in the trialogue for Moldova Facility Growth Plan, and it was adopted. We succeeded to complete the trialogue between Commission, Parliament, and the Council, and Moldova will get this facility of almost 2 billion euro for the next year in preparing to become a member of the European Union, and it's a good sign. I mean, we are moving, and I have huge expectations, and I will finish my answer now. I have huge expectations for Ursula von der Leyen in this moment to assume the position where she was elected. She was voted by the parliament, and to assume this position and explicitly mention cannot be peace in Ukraine without European Union, and it is not acceptable that Trump to be cautioned by Putin could be cautioned by the Trump just for his illusory strategy.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of democracy, that the EU should take responsibility from the US, I would like to discuss with you briefly the situation in Serbia and the EU stance towards the situation in Serbia, where for more than 3 months student and civic protests are taking place. and advocating basically for European values, for democracy, rule of law, etc. But somehow there is a growing criticism of the European institution, besides the European Parliament, which held a debate on Serbia last week, about the silence that even today we had an article in a Croatian newspaper that it's a shameful silence due to geopolitical and geoeconomic reasons. So what would be the next steps from the EU regarding Serbia? Do you expect the change of tone and the change of policies, or due to all these bigger geopolitical problems, maybe that will be in some second plan?
It's a good subject because what's happening in Serbia, it's happening around Europe, around the former European Union. I mean, Georgia, situations in the Azerbaijan, and all those elements are showing a sort of pattern. Everywhere where the local citizens of a country are strongly reacting, the Europeans are following, faster or slower, but are following. In this moment, Georgia is a very good example. And this moment, yesterday, for example, we had some debate here in the parliament, and it was clear mentioned the position also from the commission in the discussion that Serbia is expected to follow the European path, the European direction. It's clear that this pressure of the society, of the students, it's not only students, it's the active part of the society in Serbia actually who's protesting, it is cracking the government and the system which tried to play with the butt in all the boats. There is a word in Romanian saying, I mean, trying to be to the all ends. So the complaint is fair that the voice of the commission was not as was supposed to be. The parliament was pushed the subject as much as possible. I was between those who promoted it, and the group and the Renew group, the European Liberals, ALDE, we promoted this debate, this resolution about Serbia. We'll continue to do so, but for sure, to have a success, the constant pressure from the societies is necessary. It will not be only on the European hands, because in this moment, the top subject is the relation with the United States. I mean, all the others will be on the second stage in just 1 week, as I said. Yeah, I'll stay 5 more minutes.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah, but on the other hand, Serbia's path on the EU is stuck. We didn't open any chapters for more than 3 years. Then 2 days ago, Serbian Deputy Prime Minister visited Moscow and met with Sergei Shoigu, and they discussed how to fight against colored revolutions. So, but let's move, since we do not have much time, just to finish with the political situation in Romania before the elections. After the annulment of the presidential election last year, we experienced also electoral interference from the US in Romania. J.D. Vance at the Munich Security Conference criticized the annulment of the elections in Romania, and Elon Musk also supported Georgescu, the pro-Russian candidate. Could it influence the campaign and the results of the?
Yeah, it's out of the questions that I mean, this that message from Musk endorsing a lunatic line about Soros institutions in Romania, something is that typical fascist approach to invent an enemy, because there is not a Soros problem in Romania. There are not Soros companies or institutions. Somehow this is crap. I mean, it was exactly they used in the campaign when USR ran in the first elections in 2016, and they tried again in 2020, but nobody bought it again at the time. So now they are trying to undig after 8 years this Soros scarecrow, but there is no reality behind. I mean, if I'm asking people on the street, but what do you know about Soros in Romania? they are no, it's something bad. I mean, they don't know to point a finger to something concrete. So this pro-Russian candidate Georgescu started talking about how he will ban all the Soros in Romania, crap, and Musk out from nowhere start to endorse Romania should have the sovereignty. Yeah. And this is completely crazy. I mean, the fact that he's endorsing a guy who's explicitly pro-Russian, a guy who's talking with the aliens, explicitly saying he had discussed with aliens, and so show how switched is in this moment the American the team of the Trump the Trump's team in the White House, and this is a problem for the next year for sure. We'll see what will happen in Romania, because the biggest question in this moment is if this lunatic candidate pro-Russian will be allowed to run or not by the Constitutional Court, because the Constitutional Court annulled the second round of the elections because of obvious interference. And by now, at the end of March, in the 15th of March, is the deadline for the candidates to complete their candidature and fill the files. And we'll see if the Constitutional Court will remain consequent, which is the common sense reaction. I mean, it's exactly what it's supposed to happen. But in this completely new context, nobody knows if they will dare to respect their own word, or they will freak out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I know that you have a time constraint. Thank you so much for finding time to talk to me again, and I wish you a safe flight.
And thank you very much, and hope to discuss with you in the next weeks following the development of the situation.
Thank you so much. All the best.
All the best. Hugs.
Bye.